The Monday Night Roar.
We have your latest Clemson national and worldwide news.
All that and more coming up on the Monday Night Roar. First, in Clemson news, this past Friday, Clemson University officials launched the Irwin Center for Advertising and Communication in its new communication studio in Daniel Hall. This new center will prepare students for their degrees in advertising and marketing by providing classes led by industry representatives who hold senior level positions. Joe Irwin, a 1979 graduate of Clemson, and his wife Gretchen created the center in 2012. The Irwins are also the founders of Irwin Penland Advertising in Greenville, South Carolina, which is one of the largest full-service advertising agencies in the South. The new innovative classroom boasts video conferencing technology, which will allow students to meet once a week with industry representatives, as well as movable walls to transform the full-size classroom into small group workspaces.
The Irwin Center will offer Clemson students the opportunity to prepare for degrees in advertising and marketing by gaining real-world experience from industry leaders who currently hold senior-level positions in the advertising industry. The Irwin Center symbolizes Clemson's commitment to keep our students in advertising, communications, and marketing on the leading edge of all that is happening in those industries so that they leave here better prepared to do their jobs, to be more relevant to their employers, and to make real contributions to the companies and industries that employ them, said Richard Goodstein, the Dean of the College of Architecture, Arts, and Humanities.
This coming Monday marks the beginning of the 100th anniversary of Clemson University homecoming. The festivities kick off on Monday with the Miss Homecoming pageant at 7 p.m. in Tillman Hall. Representatives from all across campus will compete for the title of Miss Homecoming 2014. Throughout the week, members of Greek organizations on campus will build multiple homecoming floats to be judged Friday afternoon. Tigerama, the country's second largest pep rally, will then take place that Friday night in Littlejohn Coliseum. Activities will include the crowning of Miss Homecoming, performance by Clemson University Spirit Squads, skip by the football team, and the first ever Tiger Paw fireworks. The festivities will conclude Saturday afternoon for the homecoming football game, where the Tigers will take on Syracuse University at 7 p.m.
Minerals that endure in nature for millions of years have inspired a Clemson University-led research team to explore whether new materials could be developed to encase nuclear waste for safe storage. As of now, glass is used to isolate nuclear waste, but a team led by Clemson's Kyle Brinkman is hoping to develop materials that are more stable. The team's work could potentially expand disposal options and lower storage and disposal costs. Our project is to learn from these naturally stable minerals and design crystal structures that mimic them to incorporate waste elements we want to store, said Brinkman, a Clemson Associate Professor of Materials Science and Engineering. The 3-year project was recently awarded an $800,000 research grant from the U.S. Department of Energy's Nuclear Energy University programs. Clemson researchers will make and analyze the crystalline materials and will send the ceramics to collaborators to be further analyzed and then be made into 3D computer simulations.
Congratulations to Clemson student Hannah Denny of Lexington, South Carolina, the new recipient of an undergraduate scholarship from the German Academic Exchange Service. During her time in Germany, Denny will live in Lüneburg, where she will take classes in German language, literature, and conversation, in addition to communications, politics, and economy. As she travels across the country, Denny will meet several company representatives to speak about workplace tensions between East and West Germans. Congratulations again, Hannah.
Clemson University trustees have approved measures to improve campus facilities and infrastructure and herd enrollment, fundraising, and administrative reports during their fall quarterly meetings. President Clements has 3 main priorities he aims to fulfill: to fill key leadership positions with high-quality employees, push for increased resources, and continue to upgrade facilities. And now let's check in with Gabby for sports. Gabby and 2 other Tiger Vision members had the opportunity to film from the sidelines during the Louisville game, and they had a blast. Take it away, Gabby.
Hey guys, I'm Gabby Bates with your latest sports. Let's start out this week with Clemson Tigers and their win against Louisville in the very loud Death Valley. The Tigers were able to defeat the Cardinals 23-17. That now puts the Tigers 4-2 for the season. It was a head-to-head battle most of the game. Clemson's Adam Humphries was able to help put the Tigers on the board first with a 72-yard punt return for a touchdown. Clemson's offense did seem to struggle during the first quarter after Louisville intercepted, putting them in field goal range. The Cardinals were able to score off a field goal interception with 4 minutes and 39 seconds left in the first quarter. After this, the Tigers really fell apart. Quarterback Deshaun Watson was out for the rest of the game with a broken finger. Besides Clemson's offense, the defense stayed strong most of the game. Gary Peters was able to hit Cardinals quarterback Reggie Bonifant, causing him to fumble the ball. The loose ball was picked up by defensive end Travarius Barnes and returned for a touchdown to put Clemson up 14-10. Stout was put in for Watson for the second half of the game. Stout was able to help lead the Tigers on a scoring drive that led to a 45-yard field goal made by Ammon Lakip. The Cardinals were able to come back with just a few minutes left in the third quarter. Cardinals quarterback Will Gardner was able to hit Eli Rogers on a 22-yard scoring pass that tied the game up. Clemson was able to fight back with a 40-yard field goal made from Ammon Lakip, putting the Tigers ahead. The Clemson defense was able to hold the Cardinals, allowing them another chance at a 21-yard field goal that was made by Ammon Lakip, putting the Tigers up 23-17. Louisville then came back with a 73-yard pass play, putting them at Clemson 8-yard line with only a minute left to play. Clemson safety Jerron Kears chased down Cardinals quarterback Quick for the sack that gave the Tigers their win. The Tigers will face Boston College in Boston Saturday at 3:30. Many are asking about Deshaun Watson and his hand injury. Dabo Swinney told the media yesterday that Watson will have 4 screws put in his finger to heal a small broken bone, and he will need about a month to recover before he returns to play. Swinney said it is possible to see Watson back November the 15th against Georgia Tech. This week in college football, we also saw Mississippi State take the #1 spot in AP rankings over Florida State. Mississippi State defeated Auburn this weekend 23-38. Quarterback Dak Prescott ran for 2 touchdowns and threw for another. This was their 3rd straight win over a top 10 team, putting them at 6-0 for the season. Ole Miss was also able to help get #3 spot in the AP rankings after beating Texas A&M this weekend. Quarterback Bo Wallace ran for 2 scores and threw for a touchdown pass. Their defense was also able to score 2 TDs, helping the Rebels to their victory over 14th-ranked Texas A&M, putting them at 6-0 for the season. Many of you were probably surprised last week after hearing about the news of Todd Gurley being suspended for the rest of the season after being accused of being in violation of NCAA rules. The investigation on Gurley surrounds whether Gurley was given money for autographs. That's all I have for your sports. Now back to you guys.
And now, your national news. The Ebola epidemic has claimed the first person to be treated in the United States. Thomas Eric Duncan died on Wednesday. Duncan had been diagnosed only 8 days earlier. He fought courageously in this battle, Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital says. 5 major U.S. airports are now taking the temperatures of travelers who are flying in from West African countries and are affected by the disease. According to the World Health Organization, over 4,000 people have died thus far from the virus.
The CDC is now reporting that someone inside the United States has contracted the Ebola virus. A nurse at a Dallas hospital who had extensive contact with Eric Duncan has tested positive during a blood test. The woman wore a gown, gloves, mask, and a shield during her visits with Duncan, but health officials stated there was a breach in protocol. She reported a small fever on Friday night and was immediately isolated. She is currently in stable condition.
Since the Higher Education Act was introduced almost 50 years ago, U.S. student loan debt has surpassed $1 trillion. According to the Project on Student Debt, 7 out of 10 students who graduated in 2013 had student loan debt, with an average of about $29,400 per borrower. In response, U.S. lawmakers have drafted legislation aimed at reducing student debt, providing educational resources, and increasing transparency of loans. With these new measures, lawmakers are trying to streamline the financial aid process and make it more intuitive for students and parents. In spite of all the negative aspects of the financial aid system, lawmakers want to let students know that college is still, in fact, a wise investment.
The Gauntlet, a haunted hayride through a forest in Maine, sent 15 patrons to a hospital last Saturday when a trailer overturned. The accident required 7 fire departments and 3 police departments to rush to the scene and attempt to rescue the victims. The injured were transported to Central Maine Medical Center and St. Mary's Regional Medical Center, both which are about 15 miles away from the accident in Lewiston. The nursing supervisor at St. Mary's stated the injured transported there are all in stable condition.
Indiana Wesleyan University tipped a pizza delivery man a whopping $1,268. James Gilpin delivered 2 pizzas on Friday, costing only $12.50, to the IW Chapel and was greeted by about 3,000 students and residential education CEO Keith Newman. Gilpin was then brought on stage where he was awarded the generous tip, which was collected by the students, as well as $70 in gift cards and numerous inspirational notes from the students. Newman says this is something the students did for one person that they wish they could do for every person. Gilpin says he will spend the money on Christmas presents for his 2 small children and claims the notes written by the students have already inspired him.
Last Friday, a 3-year-old boy fell into a jaguar exhibit at the Little Rock Zoo in Arkansas. He has been updated to stable condition after receiving serious injuries after 2 jaguars bit him on the foot and near his neck. The child was rescued by a zookeeper who climbed into the cat pit, while others used fire extinguishers to ward off the jaguars. The boy's wounds are not life-threatening, but he did sustain major injuries. And now, let's check in with John Oliver for entertainment and Freddie for showtimes.
Bill Hader returned this past weekend to Saturday Night Live, in which he featured a heartfelt tribute to the late Jan Hooks. Although the hilarious sketches and jokes were the primary focus of the show, Hader took a moment to remember the former SNL cast member who passed away this past Thursday at the age of 57. The tribute featured an appearance by Kristen Wiig, who talked briefly about how Hooks inspired her to pursue comedy. Neil Patrick Harris is reportedly talking with Oprah Winfrey about starting a new talk show on OWN. According to sources, Harris pitched the show to the Queen of Television, and she seemed extremely interested. This past April, Harris revealed that he was not going to take over The Late Show once David Letterman leaves. Perhaps Neil wants to be the new queen of daytime television. David Bowie premiered his new jazz song, Sue, or In a Season of Crime, last night on BBC Music 6. The song was produced by his longtime collaborator, Tony Viscotti, and features the Marina Schreiner Orchestra. Clearly, the singer has not lost his voice because the song is over 7 minutes long. The official album drops on November 28th. Kathy Griffin revealed this week that she was in talks with E! to replace Joan Rivers on Fashion Police starting in January. Although nothing has been confirmed, the comedian says that she will try to do the show justice in order to help continue Joan's legacy. The new season of Fashion Police will premiere January 12, 2015. Amanda Bynes' friends are speaking out, saying the actress needs help because her behavior is worse than anyone knows. And I think many of us can agree that that is an understatement. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Hello, and welcome back to Showtimes. We provide you with all the important movie news from the couch to the theater. We cover movies coming to Redbox, theaters, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. Unfortunately, nothing notable is coming out to Amazon or Netflix. Luckily, Redbox came in clutch and has Godzilla and The Fault in Our Stars in stock this week. In theaters this week is Fury, a more serious version of Inglourious Basterds. Starring ageless Brad Pitt and not famous anymore Shia LaBeouf, it follows a tank crew during World War II. Also out is The Book of Life, a cute children's movie packing the voices of Zoe Saldana, Channing Tatum, Ice Cube, and Danny Trejo. Last is The Best of Me, a Nicholas Sparks book adaptation if you want to cry, probably. Also in theaters is Annabelle, the story of a possessed doll. Gone Girl, which is receiving great reviews from both people who read the book and those who didn't, and The Judge, starring Robert Downey Jr. Thank you for tuning in, and watch next week for the next update. Back to you.
Thanks, John Oliver and Freddie. Things got rowdy at an Occupy Central protest site in Hong Kong on Monday after hundreds of people opposing the pro-democracy occupation tried to tear down protest barricades. Police had to form a human chain to separate the protesters from people intent on breaking up their 3-week-long occupation of the Admiralty district near the city's financial center. Protesters were heard yelling, "There are triads here," which is a reference to the criminal gangs in the city known for controlling, smuggling, prostitution, and illegal gambling rings.
It has been 9 days since North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has been seen in public. The leader missed a ceremony in honor of his father and grandfather recently last week. His name was not present on a list of attendees at the 69th anniversary of the Workers' Party of North Korea. The media attempted to explain the absence by stating Kim was experiencing discomfort. South Korea's defense minister told the media he believes Kim to be staying in a hospital for high-ranking members of North Korea's ruling party near one of his many homes.
Taliban insurgents have killed 14 Afghan national security forces, including 2 policemen in northern Afghanistan. Roughly 180 Afghan security forces were traveling in a convoy Sunday when more than 200 Taliban fighters attacked them in a very remote part of Saripul province. The Taliban captured 6 soldiers and injured 17 others. 23 Taliban insurgents were killed in the fight.
A young French girl is being renowned for her artistic masterpieces. Iris Hamshaw is a 5-year-old child with autism who communicates through her paintings. For Hamshaw's family, the paintings are a key into her world, where every stroke is considered and thought out. Iris's paintings, which mimic an impressionist style, are currently being sold for thousands of dollars around the world. Her mother started sharing her artwork through Facebook and now has set up a website to sell originals and prints of her work. Money from the originals will go directly into Iris's savings account, while money from the cards and prints will go towards her speech therapy, occupational therapy, music, and yoga.
Oscar Pistorius is a broken man after the death of his girlfriend, a psychologist said Monday, as his defense tried to convince a judge of his fragile emotional state. The Olympian shot his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp, on Valentine's Day after supposedly mistaking her for an intruder. Prosecution dismissed his claim that she was the love of his life. Pistorius was found guilty, however, the judge cleared him of murder and granted him bail pending the sentence hearing. The hearing will most likely take a few days as prosecution and defense put up their arguments before the court.
For Google Street View, creating an image is as simple as putting a camera on a car and driving down a street. But how does this process work in the desert? Well, Google has discovered a new low-tech solution. They hired a camel. The camel, named Rafia, lifts up the Google Tracker camera, which captures images that are inaccessible to its Street View cars. They have used a camel in order to capture imagery in the best, most authentic, and least damaging way, says a representative for Google. And finally, let's check in with James for the weather.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at your weather for the rest of the week. Highs are going to be in the mid to upper 70s, lows in the mid 50s. Not much of a chance of rain this week, just on Tuesday. Tomorrow, we're going to have a 90% chance of rain, so make sure you wear your raincoat. Taking a look outside your window right now, it is a cool 69 degrees and cloudy. Winds out of the east at 7 miles per hour, so it's kind of breezy. Humidity of 87%, so it is pretty humid since it rained a little bit today. Storms coming out of the Midwest into the Golden Corner tomorrow, as we will see some rain and thunder showers tomorrow afternoon. Speaking of rain, reminds me that it was raining cats and dogs a little while ago, and I stepped in a poodle. But it's okay if it rains cats and dogs as long as it doesn't rain deer. Now back to you guys.
Thanks, James. That's all for tonight.
Be sure to follow Tiger Vision on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Have a great week, Clemson. We'll see you next Monday. Stay classy.